Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the former world champion Terran. In the blue, it's Micro Jackson, ByuN. But up against the former world champion Zerg. In the red, the Executioner, Rogue. A Terran versus Zerg showdown. And starting things off, I'm post-youth. And while that might describe both these players and probably a significant percentage of those watching this, that doesn't mean things won't age like a fine, balanced wine. And before we get started, it'd be awesome if you could help me age a little bit better by smashing that like button and maybe even subscribing. And Jimmy, what are 1,431 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways. I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get a little bit better than these early Zerglings and drones, which will be emotionally and also physically traumatized by the early Reaper. Pokes in, and the Zerglings will serve as something of a meat shield for those early drones, as Rogue has opted for 3 hatcheries early. But ByuN, not to be outdone, 3 command centers already on the way. So both players going for the full-on macro build to start things off, though ByuN just decided to build a casual second Reaper, because he's in stiff competition with his metaphorical son, Clem, to see which one of them is going to be able to get the Reaper nerfed again. Of course, ByuN is up 2-0, but being almost double Clem's age means he's had a little bit more time to work with it. So, the Reaper. For those who don't know, the Reaper used to have double the damage and half the cooldown on the grenade. And at separate points over the course of a couple years, ByuN made so many of them, more than any other player by a large margin. It was nerfed not once, but twice. Still, the Reaper of today is immensely annoying and potentially deadly, but pales in comparison to the, I guess, the alpha version of Legacy of the Void. Not really alpha, just, you know, the first couple years of Terran terror. Then followed by a whole lot of other things, but I'm sure we'll get a chance to see many of those. Queens will politely yet firmly ask the Reapers to leave. The Reapers have never been polite about anything in their lives. Take out both the creep tumors and bounce the queens around for good measure. Cloak Banshee on the way behind the queens, trundling out, and the Reaper's just gonna pop right back into the main. The Overlord spotted that the Reaper gets stuck somehow. The second one just wouldn't jump up, afraid of heights. Not entirely sure what happened there, but wasn't able to get up. And it happens to the best of us in post-youth. 7 roaches on the way. The Sloaches, the option to box out those early Hellions. The Queens, to drive out things like Banshees, that you still have to be somewhat careful. Now, the Overlord came in and saw the Tech Lab upgrading. It's very likely, well, he's also going to see the Banshees, so that really gives away most of the parts of that puzzle. I'm sure he can put it all together from there, but the lair is nearly completed. Hellions, roaches boxing out, and Rogue behind it just droning. ByuN has no intention of doing critical damage with these Hellions. They're just to keep control of the creep, which, being such a great speed bonus and vision bonus for the Zerg, becomes if you get, much like most tumors, if you get rid of them early, it becomes a lot less of a problem as time goes on. And creep is no exception. As the queens get more and more energy and gather in numbers, they like to hunt in packs, contrary to their name, but then it becomes almost impossible to control the creep without total map control. But this early stage, the Hellions and the Banshees, still keeping Rogue at bay, and he's perfectly happy to sit back and build up to like 60 drones and counting, as he has roach speed already on the way. Thinking about the gold base, a little hot right now, but another drone comes down. First time for everything, but wait. Queens drive it back. But the Banshees in the main will poke at some of the outlying drones, but Rogue, Brenda, come back! No, why can't we see them? How can they fly? Susan, shut up. Shut up. We have overseers for once. Okay, somebody remembered to bring a lair. Somebody didn't forget this. Oh, shut up. Sorry. The Queens are able to drive back the Banshees, and Rogue, with an infestation pit, And a Hydra Den on the way, angling heavily towards lurkers in the late game. As that infestation pit unlocking the hive. And the roaches, just kind of a stopgap to keep the Hellions away. Some changelings are like the same speed as an Overseer, fun fact. Semi-fun fact, it's not that fun. It's not unfun. But no need to be pedantic about it. Gold base nearly complete and the creep spread starting to multiply exponentially. But ByuN has his production online. He has a lot of anger that Overseer has looked and saw. I can't believe he saw all my barracks. Now he's gonna know I'm going for Marines. It's like, all right, ByuN. You really fooled him, though. Don't want to turn into one of those. A Roach Ravager. The creep side's already halfway across the map. This is actually one of the smallest rush distances between bases of any map in the current pool. Though the main base is so easily defensible with that ramp, it feels a bit more turtly than it really is. Throws out the corrosive bile, but ByuN changes trajectories. Queens replacing the creep that was shut down and continuing forward. There's already 42 creep tumors, which answers a lot of questions, but I'm sure more will be raised. 2-2 on the way for ByuN. Still, no real... There's been 2 Marines and a handful of Zerg dead after 8 minutes. It's about as close as we'll get in professional StarCraft 2 to a no-rush 10-minute game, where both players have kind of agreed we're going to build up to 200 supply, and then... Get off my creep! All right, okay. I know. Let me be excited about something for once. Fair. I know. A Roach Hydra chasing down, and no Lurker Den on the way. Just straight up Roach Hydra, the brute force battering ram of Zerg with Hive Tech on the way. ByuN with his own forces mustering in the center. Siege tanks, some Hellbats mixed in, well, transformed after the armory finished. He kept the Hellions alive. A bunch more Roaches on the way for not ByuN, that would be concerning. But for Rogue, who now has the creep on the doorstep of the planetary and starting to encroach down. 73 drones. Lurker Den now on the way. I don't know if he forgot it or if he realizes he might need it, but here comes Rogue. And this position is well entrenched by ByuN, but there's a lot of angles to hit. Unfortunately, the double drop, it's raining men in the main. And now the Roaches are forced back, fighting in the middle of the map, and the non-aggression pact has been broken as a fight breaks out on 3 fronts. Main base, Marines still not dead yet, but the Queens are starting to clean it up. 11 drones, takes out a bunch of the bio, forces the not-so-planetary to lift. I think it wasn't quite completed yet. So, Rogue, I think, got the better end of this full exchange, as he was able to drive ByuN off his 4th base. Yeah, he lost a few drones, but he already has the Hive Tech and the upgrades, so he's coming directly down a ramp into siege tanks. Which, a lot of bones in that trench. No, that's no. My professional opinion on this is no. But a bunch of changelings, 4 Overseers. Not going to be caught without detection. Overseers don't cost supply. They are the supply, so technically. And shelling that one, the poorest man's liberator, these Ravagers here on the high ground. And the creep spread has gotten out of hand. It's now extended all the way across the map. There ghosts in production. Rogue now has... I had to double take because ByuN has 83 SCVs to Rogue's 76 drones. But this sort of composition is very supply heavy. The Roach Ravager. Oh, but the ghosts gonna pop those cauldrons. Lurkers, though, have joined the fray. They don't have their range upgrade, though. They won't be able to interrupt the snipes, and besides, there's plenty. Ooh, there's plenty of siege tanks behind. ByuN has accepted his turtle shell, and he wears it proudly. More like a porcupine, really. Because if you get anywhere close, he's going to shoot out sniper needles at you and potentially impale your most important units, which the Ghost can one-shot pretty much everything. Well, 1 or 2 shot everything on the board here. Lurkers take 2. Roaches very technically take 2, but they're left with like 5 HP after 1. Very uncomfortable. Is that a double Nidus? Double Nidus in the center of the map? Rogue is not going to sit back and play a war of attrition. He's just, well, he can't attack the front. So it appears it's time for Operation Overlord. Send the Overlords in towards the main base and try to establish a beachhead. Open up a second front to keep ByuN back. But Rogue doesn't really have the economy to do a bunch of this. Well, he doesn't have that much more income than ByuN, as he only has 78 drones. I say only, but ByuN actually has more workers. The ghosts and the tanks are well entrenched, just forcing them to reposition. Is that 9 more overseers? Oh my, no. This is not a real strategy. This is like Bronze League Heroes YouTube comments. Don't validate them. Well, if you just build enough overseers, you can contaminate all of their buildings and they can't produce anything. The contaminate ability, which costs about I forget if it's 100 or 125 energy because it's so rarely used, disables production on production and upgrades on pretty much any building for about 30 seconds. So there is a number of overseers you could get, but he's just making mass changeling, which I guess makes it a little harder to snipe things like Vipers. That's assuming he had any Vipers, which is one way to stop him from sniping your own. The ghost sniping all your overseers is one of the semi-rare but most painful. He's building... No, he's not. The reason you don't do this is because overseers cost 50 gas. And minerals, technically, but we're worried a lot more about the gas. So when you spend several 100 to 1,000 gas on overseers, that's not an investment you're really getting back. But again, they don't cost supply. So, yeah, we haven't really... Rogue has now lost twice as many resources, but early days, as clearly ByuN is well turtled. Yes, he can see the ghost, but if he gets a good enough concave, the snipes will still go off and ping cushion the lurkers. As we see there, you gotta interrupt it with damage, but if you fire off enough snipes, and quite conveniently, they get the energy back if their snipe doesn't connect. If it gets canceled, those ghosts can line up another shot, but if there are so many changelings in the way... Can you snipe changelings? Like, even accidentally? I don't know the answer to that, but ByuN! A lot of those ghosts getting eviscerated by the lurker spines. There's 2 Niduses in the main. He'll take out 1. These are changelings, though. In the fight 5-5-5, right, boys? Who are these people? You want a piece of meat, boy? He has 27 overseers. What the What is... Is he trying to cloak his lurkers with overseers? Like, making it so they can't be sniped by putting the overseers in front of the lurkers and body blocking them with the hitbox? Nidus pops out and dies immediately, which is very sad. I think he's actually... He is actually trying to physically make it impossible to snipe the lurkers. Between the changelings and the overseers, well, the ghosts are coming close. It's not going to stop the tanks from hitting them, obviously. But the ghosts must actually target. And if you do the rapid fire trick where you wave over your ability and hit any target... Okay, Liberators also aren't going to care about the overseers. I can't get over Seer how many there are. This is about 3 times as many overseers as you see in an entire game. They're just all together. The overseer flock. I'm so confused. I think ByuN is a little confused. Oh, yeah, look. Or rather, look, you can't actually... I can't click on it. If I can't click on it as the omnipotent observer, Oh my god, he's actually cloaking his lurkers with over. Don't try this at home. Like, well, that's genius until you realize 4 overseers equals the cost of a lurker. Maybe it's more. Actually, I think it's more than a lurker. So if you lose a few of them to save 1 lurker, it's actually a net negative. But they don't cost supply because they are the supply, and that's the main point. Meanwhile, lurkers try to break through with the planetary and the siege tanks. Rogue has claimed a whole portion of the map. Most importantly, that portion being well over half. And I'm still busy trying to figure out what is his play. He's at 29. He just keeps building them. He has some money in the bank, but ByuN has kind of an equal. Oh my god, it's triple Nidus. Okay, well, here come the lurkers. There's not enough ghosts to stem the tide, and the spines rip through the ground toward them. Only 3 of the... Oh, wait, here's the rest. Good luck. I still don't know what he's trying to accomplish. Maybe just distraction, but he wasn't on top of the changelings are marching in. The siege tanks easily deal with them. 22 more Hydras in production, but Rogue is spending his entire bank on Overseers. This is like investing in Beanie Babies and hoping you'll get your return. Overseers don't shoot! And he hasn't used Contaminate, so... ByuN, he's trying to stop the snipes, but... I immensely appreciate the effort, but I'm not entirely convinced of the efficacy. I like the cloak, though. Yeah. Alright, good luck. I think he has detection. Oh my. I'll read you, sir. Oh no! Siege tank's quite effective at killing changelings. All you have to do is click on one, and it will incidentally hit the rest nearby. I guess it goes for all siege tank damage now that I think about it. That was kind of dumb, but... Rogue has... How many? He's building Vipers now, which is what I originally thought the point of all these Overseers was, to mask the Vipers. The masking the Lurkers has been met with, he's lost over twice as many resources. 13,000 more minerals. He has mined 9,000 more minerals and 3,000 more gas. So it is somewhat sustainable, but he has to hold on to at least 1 extra base. Triple Nidus in the main. ByuN keeps putting him out. Right now, Rogue having a lot of Nidus connectivity issues, but each of those costs 75 gas. Well, 75. I keep neglecting to mention the minerals. But in this case, considering the banks, ByuN has 8 orbital commands, which means he always has a scan on... Oh my god. The changelings. The ghost count. Who are you gonna call? Overseers. But they're ghosts. Overseers. More. He's building 7 more overlords. It's not like he's supply blocked. ByuN's about to have 3-3. A small bio force. Headed down. Just knocks out 2 medevacs. But... Oh! Finally! The Niduses will complete. There are lurkers all over them. A single siege tank, but the triple Nidus unloads and he can rip through the main. Now, how important is this? I mean, losing the main base would be quite annoying. Not like ByuN can't rebuild his production or just fly away, but meanwhile, distracting at the front, the Overseers also here. The lurkers are popping back into the Nidus. Maybe they can reposition towards the front. There's 6 Nidus worms. This is a campaign mission. ByuN right now is that last mission of Wings of Liberty. Except ghosts are better and lurkers are worse. But, well, I guess he chose the Nidus worms over the Mutalisks. Rogue needs a Leviathan to break this many ghosts. Or how about 5 more overseers? Has anybody considered 5 more overs? Winter, you fool, at 160 supply? But think about the investment portfolio of these overseers. Okay? If we get 5 more overseers than last quarter, that'll be 17% more overseers. And that, well,
the numbers don't lie.
And I'm always one for one-upping that last game, that last quarter. That's why I always beg for those likes and subscribes, because there always must be more. Growth is fully sustainable and will never run out of minerals on the map. It'll be fine. Right, Rogue? This does not seem like something that will come back to bite him economically or emotionally. Instead, this is just a genius move. Unfortunately, EMP. Oh my god, there's so many tanks. 100 Zerglings, 21 tanks, the orbital's burning. And now he only has 5 of them. Wait, where did like 2 more go? Did he lose them in the main? Right? ByuN is bunkered up with everything but bunkers. Did he get building armor? Yes, in high-sec auto-tracking. He hasn't been able to move out pretty much the entire game. The waves of changelings. Stop. Stop building overseers. 36. What is he doing? I can't, like... It's not even trolling. Because Rogue isn't even really winning the game. He doesn't... ByuN has way more money in the bank with a better army. Well, when your opponent is making a mistake, though a confusing and somewhat exciting one. I didn't know how else to describe it. Why interrupt them? I think ByuN sees 30 overseers. He's like, you know what? We'll just let this play out. If that's how he wants to spend his money. All right, if he wanted to waste his money, he could just buy Warhammer figures or something. Like, this is the weirdest form of mineral laundering I've ever seen. Probably shouldn't upset, like, my main demographic. But, well, the missile turrets eventually hit the Vipers. I think they took out 1. The triple Nidus in the main. It's still just triple, right? Down go 2 more command centers. Lurkers in the main. The Liberators will eventually clean it up. 92 more Zerglings. ByuN is driven up. ByuN's income is at 0. Wait. Oh, I guess there's this base. There's 33 Overseers, 110 Zerglings, 24 Siege Tanks. If Rogue knew what Broodlords were, ByuN would be very upset. But... oh my. Well, energy versus energy. The changelings! Yeah! We're here to join the Terrans. We heard the pay's better. You heard wrong. Now, what I'm a little surprised at is Rogue not doing the oversupply trick, where you build like 50 spore crawlers, build a bunch of units, and then cancel the spores, and you're at 250 supply. Though he doesn't... The very odd part of this scenario is obviously neither of them know how much money the other has. ByuN can assume Rogue has had access to more money. Obviously. This is the ByuN count, which is constantly having Niduses inflicted upon him. But he doesn't know exactly how wasteful Rogue has been. Rogue has mined 20,000 more minerals and 6,000 more gas. But he's lost 8,000 more gas and 9,000 more minerals. So we're really going to have to start counting mineral patches here soon. And more importantly, gas geysers. As Rogue... 1,000 left. Okay, we're still pretty far off mining the map out of gas. As long as he doesn't build any more overs. How many has he lost? 7. Don't worry, he still has 30-something. The changelings are everywhere. ByuN's army just looks more and more like it's setting up for the start of a campaign mission with each fight. Like, what is this? It's a box art army. They're full energy Vipers. The watchtower siege tank is in range of one of the Nidus networks and is going to be even closer in range now. Is that... Hello? Okay, all right. The Viper helps it get a closer look. Another Nidus at the third base. It's mined out. No Overseers here. But while ByuN's looking the other way, Rogue will use this opportunity to break forward. The Overseer fleet is gliding past. The blinding clouds are helpful. And ByuN... Well, now there's 110 more Zerglings in production. Rogue is out of larva, and he only went up to 146 supply in that fight. So that tells you how much he lost in order to only stabilize at 160 something. ByuN's just building 5 more ghosts. This is... Well, ByuN is really spending his money here. This is unprecedented. I've never seen quite this sort of late game. Well, on ByuN's side, yes. Seeing a bunch of ghosts and liberators and siege tanks is certainly not an original experience. But Rogue over here, with his mass Nidus Overseer, using all the mechanics of Zerg that do not cost any larva. Well, I guess Overseers cost larva, but or supply. Changelings are just like Scan with extra steps. Since Scan doesn't take any steps, Changelings usually do. ByuN's doing quite a good job of knocking them out. There's 143 Zerglings. Another Nidus. Zerglings pop out. And, well, he's going to use that as a distraction. Nidus pops out, distraction comes in. Unfortunately, EMP doesn't run out of targets. So the Vipers lose all their energy before the fight starts. The Ghosts. Well, his tank count has dwindled, but the Ghost count has grown dramatically. Paranormal activity will begin. And unless... Rogue can pull a blizzard and cancel these ghosts, then what's the answer? He hasn't gotten Broodlords, he hasn't gotten Ultralists, he hasn't gotten Infestors, technically he hasn't gotten Swarm Hosts, but I don't know if we're really lumping that one in. How much of this? He barely mined any of the gas, so... The Spore Crawler! Ah! At least he got a few attacks in with his... before he bleeds out. Oh my god. It's always so painful. How many queens are there? There are 4 queens. On bases that look sad and abandoned. Still injecting larvae. We're 30 minutes in. And the game has only gotten more confusing. ByuN is completely broke. He has to, one base at a time, desperately try to retake. He does have 6 orbital commands, but one of them is floating over. And he does need to keep scanning, because if he looks away for 1 second, then Rogue will probably try to jump him. Little does Rogue know, well, little does ByuN know, that he has a massive supply advantage. Rogue yanking tanks into his Hydra ball. We've reached the Hydra side quest phase. Remember, kids, make sure to build up your 30-minute Overseer Hydralisk Viper composition, so that way you can pick apart the tanks who have fossilized in old age from sitting there for over 15 minutes. Rogue is clearly trying to be a bit more precise here. But how does he ever kill the ghosts? Oh, good answer. 8 infestors on the way. Oh my god, there's so many hatcheries in the main. These hatcheries are badly bruised. Wow, those Vipers and their reckless consumption. I'm a big fan. I think Rogue should try the renewable Zerg energy strat, which is get like 15 queens to transfuse something like a hatchery. It doesn't matter what building. And then you get like 8 Vipers, and then you always have enough energy via transfuse to heal and then transfer that energy into consume. And then it's just, for the low cost of like 700 EPM, you can save your buildings a little bit more. Or you could just consume your 12 hatcheries or whatever. Oh, right on the dot. 12 hatcheries it is. Well, 1 hive and 11 hatcheries, but don't be that guy. A precious overseer went down. Probably should build 17 more to replace it. Overlords provide 8 supply. So having 32 of them is certainly a bit much. At this point, he only has 4 overlords and 32 overseers. Which begs the question of what those overlords did to not get promoted. There's still a gas geyser here. A changeling trying to cosplay as an SCV. One thing that Rogue has done is remove a lot of the missile turrets, if there ever were any, in most of the areas here. He's got the burrow festers. The mini-map is a mess. Another wave of... How do changelings show up on the units lost? Well, that's a tragedy. It has to be in the hundreds, if not thousands. We're at 677 Zerglings lost. Rogue has lost 26,000 more resources, including 8,000 more gas. But he's had 2/3 of the map. He's not far from mining out the, we're gonna call it 1045 base. AM, of course. Venn diagram scan. And it is, at this point, I must remind everyone at home, or not at home, wherever you are, with your phone on full volume on a crowded bus. Hello, everyone. Anyway, like and subscribe. In order to win a game of StarCraft 2, you must destroy all your opponent's buildings. Usually, professional players who spend, ByuN just did he just cleaned house for infestors. I have to tell, he just scanned his entire base to make sure there was nothing burrowed. He literally just swept his base with scans. I don't think I've ever seen quite that. Well, this is unprecedented. So, usually pro players who play this game for a living understand when the chances of destroying your opponent's buildings before they destroy yours is so low it's not worth fighting. And that's why games usually end well before that point. Another thing is, you can just kill your own units. You don't have to send them in like this, but it's a power move. It's a power move. The production tab is up, it's just empty. It's a power move to send in your workers when you could just kill them yourself. It's saying, I have so little need for these that you might as well kill them. Also, I guess it takes slightly less APM, but is that really the concern right now? Rogue is, now that he's stopped throwing away overseers and his entire army, has banked up quite a hefty amount of minerals and gas. He's got 67 larvae in the bank. I am very surprised he doesn't have an Ultraless Cavern just to make the game-ending mistake of building mass Ultras. He technically has a Spire, but has not upgraded anything off of it. So, now what? Wow. Good luck. Walled off with siege tanks and liberate the drones! Scratch the paint on the orbital command. My eyes hurt looking at this. Need some overseer eyes all over the place. Well, now what? I guess we go to the income tab, which also doesn't show much. The income has been trending towards ByuN because Rogue is mined out of, well, pretty much everything. How much gas over here? Like 1,600 total. So, seen any good movies lately? I remember watching movies back in my day, pre-youth. Wait, that doesn't make it. He's just scanning the army, and why not? It's not like dropping mules is going to make much of a difference at this stage. He's mined out. Don't know how many minerals are left on there. There's 200 there, 700. ByuN may end up... Oh, of course. He's going to send his SCVs, do some creep clearing. I think 141 Zergling should be a strong enough counter. "32 overseers, building up energy." So here is my theory crafting on the best way / dumbest way to win-lose this game. Build up maximum energy on the overseers. Do a fully committed attack. Send the overseers and contaminate. There's only 7 barracks, 2 factories, and a starport. These overseers could easily disable the entirety of ByuN's production. Of course, they have to get there. And it's only like 30 seconds, so... And, you do have to go through quite a literal campaign. That is a lot. That's 169 supply of Terran. Arrayed throughout this. And that's not a very nice place to be. I mean, Rogue has 182 supply, so... The Nidus networks will get disconnected. He's scanning. If you scan the entire map, the infestors can't sneak up on you. And he found some minerals. Drops the mules to claim them. I think Rogue just realized those minerals were there, but he grabs them. Oh my god! He's doing my FPS! No! I've done this before, but in a much less high-stakes game, where you get enough overseers and enough changelings, and technically you can just lag them out of the game because their computer can't process it. Now, I don't think ByuN's going to have that issue. Well, okay, well, wow. Did you know they actually like have a little creep spot when enough of them die in the same place? I've never seen such wholesale slaughter of changelings before. First time for everything. Meanwhile, ByuN, the trade agreement continues. Just like this does not prevent us. I think you have to mine minerals to prevent a stalemate, so they're still mining. They're maxed out. The changelings. If he had another like 50 overseers, he could make enough changelings to potentially tank the frame rate of the entire game. And that's not a joke. Because each of those overseers can make up to 4 changelings, which, I mean, do the math. Only 33 overseers is not too horrible, but have 100 or 2? Plus all the Zerglings and Banelings. Technically, Rogue could make another... I mean, what are you doing with all that money? You could be making more overseers. ByuN has moved up one of his orbitals. Hey, boys. One of the... Out of 100 changelings, 2 slipped through. And sometimes that's all it takes. Another SCV. What is this? The creep finally getting cleared up. Feels like Rogue is just at the 30-minute mark he said, well, that's enough attacking for me. And now there's still a bit of gas. Rogue is almost completely out of minerals. ByuN is helpfully... Oh my god. You gotta split your changelings, bro. I think he's trying to draw him into... I don't even know what he's trying to do here, to be honest. It's gruesome. Somewhat grimly amusing. But also, most importantly, confusing. So somebody has to win, technically. Well, at some point, the APMs of both players are dropping. As well, as they both... There's only so much left to do. Like, you've got Rogue occasionally holding down the changeling button. He's been maxed out for like 10 minutes. Overseers everywhere. I don't know what's going on there, but it should be investigated. I think they were all right-clicked on a single Zergling in the corner. The changelings wandering through. ByuN has decided he's just not moving out at any point. The queens. Oh, he's gonna kill the hatchery. Well, a hatchery has been Hey, you guys ejected any hatcheries lately? Patricia, don't... No, you see, now they noticed. All right, the overseers are right there. Their vision is based on movement. And now you had to say something. Way to go, Patricia. Sorry, I'm new here. Oh, okay, that's no excuse. This game has been 45 minutes long. We're really grasping at straws here. So just calm down. I'm calm... Calm down! Sorry. I blacked out for a moment. Well, we've reached that point where the timer has the hour mark on it, because in ancient history, before Legacy of the Void, nearly 10 years ago, we used to work on StarCraft time, which was actually faster than real time as a legacy, somewhat puns intended, from StarCraft 1, when the Koreans would always play on faster speed instead of normal. So, in StarCraft time, we would have reached the 1 hour mark. We play in real time now, though all the timings are the same, but... So that is one of the holdovers. We would have reached that 1 hour mark in StarCraft time. Thus, well, the extra digit on the timer kind of breaking the UI a little bit. Because it's not supposed to go this far. The Baneling nest is kind of important. Rogue agrees. What's also surprising to me is they haven't said anything either. At this stage. Well, it's not Dark. Dark and ByuN definitely would have exchanged some words. Or at least emojis at this point. But Rogue, I still don't know what to make of this Overseer play. It hasn't seemed to affect the outcome of the game, but it gives it the kind of facade of things still happening while ByuN, ever so slowly, but somewhat surely, carves out more and more of the map, which has been nearly entirely cleaned of minerals. About 1,000 more over there. And Rogue has mined 92... He's mined 28,000 more minerals. And 10,000 more gas. Which is nearly how much more he's lost than ByuN, so... Well, now what? ByuN's kind of, making issue of it. I don't know if you can ever kill those liberators with the army he has. 153 Zerglings. The queens. Another Bioforce. Seems like Rogue's gonna go as ByuN is eventually going to make his way across the map. If he can get those ghosts. There are 21 ghosts. 153 Zerglings, 50 Banelings, but 21 ghosts. Liberator siege up. Gonna clear out some more. What now? Oh no, they better not be doing this again. What? No! No, get the This is... If I had a like and subscribe for every time I've seen ByuN be in this situation on this map, and him agreeing to a draw with his Zerg opponent, I'd have 2 likes and subscribes. Which is not a lot, but it is concerning that it's happened more than once. With 12,000 minerals to 7,500, 72 to 44... I don't know if they were debating how many resources they had left. After 48 minutes, and the biggest potential blue balls of all StarCraft 2 history, they agree to a draw. Well... That certainly explains one thing. Which is why there were 2 games on the same map. But, why? Why would you do this, guys? Well... Here we go again. Take it from the top. Try to pretend none of this has ever happened. Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the former world champion Terran in the blue. In the top right, it's Micro Jackson, ByuN. And up against him, the former world champion Zerg. In the red, the Executioner. It's Rogue. A Terran versus Zerg showdown. That might make you think, oh, deja vu. I've just been in this base before. But no! Post-youth it is yet again. And while that might describe both these players and probably most of the people watching this, it always has a chance to get a little bit better. Unlike whatever that disaster piece was last time. So, if you'd like to contribute to my mental health fund, or just... I'd like to send an official letter of, please, just don't do that. Don't, why draw, just fight! I don't know. Like and subscribe. Anyways. Well, there is always the chance to do it all again. In Game 1, Version 2. Here comes the Reaper. Gonna, play footsies with the Zerglings. And this one better have a great conclusion. If this is, well, if this is another draw, that would be terrible, but also amazing. But if this is just a one-sided stomp, I'm going to be very upset. Like, well, if you're watching this right now, you made it this far, then at least this fever dream was entertaining. But, ooh, I am somewhat upset. I can't believe it's happened twice now. ByuN has just turtled his way into not losing, which is usually a metaphor, but in this case, seems to have been entirely successful. And the reason I think they agreed to it is even if they fight, it's going to take another like 20, 30 minutes. Because neither player, and there should be rules against this, I think. But neither player had a distinct advantage, even though Rogue had money in the bank. That entrenched the most difficult to beat Terran composition, perfected with near maxed army supply, up against a Zerg with a massive bank and so many overseers. But ByuN didn't know how much Rogue had, and Rogue didn't know exactly how much ByuN had, but they both agreed to it, which I still very much dislike. I think you fight until there's no more resources, and then if it's a draw, it's a draw. But, we're allowing it. So, I think in most major, like, LAN tournaments and stuff, this is just an online cup. So, but we're not going to force them to play for an hour and a half a game that they've decided how it's going to end at 45 minutes. But still, upsetting. Well, not helped by the fact that they seem to be going down a very similar road. Well, I take it back. This time Rogue's going for melee attack and Carapace, whereas ByuN is opting for a quick stim marine push. So both of them will have a lot more early mid-game potential. Lair's on the way. Quick Lair, which gives access to baneling speed as well. Well, Quick Lair with the upgrades. Rogue only 5 minutes in, going to have the Lair and double Evo chamber. So, really off to a strong start economically. I guess the Reaper Hellion didn't do very much to control that economy, and there's already a 4th hatchery on the way. More barracks for ByuN. Now, baneling nest, very important. Burrow in production. Bane mine's an option, though not usually a reliable one. And the Marines just stepped a little far, realized they were on creep. It was all slimy and uncomfortable. So they wait for the medevacs so that way they can slurp themselves back up into the medevacs and escape. But the Queen's targeted. Almost gets one of the medevacs in return. The Zerglings wrap around, but will easily be picked up without the Queens to support. Baneling speed on the way. And now 1-1, nearly completed for ByuN. Armory is going to complete alongside it as well. So, can work on those 2-2 upgrades. Wow, within about a second, the baseline upgrades will be completed. 2-2 starts for Rogue. It's a bit of a jump on it compared to ByuN. Baneling's waddling through. Baneling speed still a bit away. And there's 2-2. Couple drones dead. Gold base shut down. And Rogue, 69 drones. Nice economic base to just do that massling Bane style. Up against ByuN, who has markedly less siege tanks than he did in a alternate timeline. Though still a couple of them kind of sitting out on the map. SCVs. Billy, what are you doing? Job's finished. Two more hatcheries on the way. Infestation pit. So a lot of production and access to hive. Wings and Banes. Infestor pit. Infestation pit on the way. I think I already said that. It's all blending together now. Can't even remember what I said a minute ago, let alone 30 minutes ago. Doesn't matter, though. Ooh. Well, this is new. The Baneling Mines, and the first hit matters so much! Direct hit! And he doesn't do the post-Baneling scan? Yeah, I don't think he... Oh, he did have the energy. But eats into the Marine count drastically. And Rogue might be able to springboard into a direct attack. Tries to slip by. More hatcheries on the way. Some burrowed Banes about the rocks. Set him up in a perfect position. And now ByuN, he doesn't have all those orbitals just scan constantly. And we both know that Terran players would rather cut off their hand than build a Raven. So those Banelings, the Widow Mines will burrow. A lot of Banelings getting taken out by the siege tanks. Good targeting. And Widow Mines alongside the tanks to take out big groups of those Zerglings and Banelings. Widow Mines, maybe not reliable, but definitely a lot cheaper than having just the siege tanks. 2-2 done for both sides. ByuN has not started 3-3, and Rogue isn't quite done with his lair yet. More changelings. The Overseer count, a paltry 1 at the moment. Those are rookie numbers. Ultraless Cavern. Adrenal Glands. All the Banelings close the distance, but all the Marines get into the medevacs, but not on the right flank. Widow Mines hit hard. And the SCVs are hit as well. 13 SCVs killed by the roll-by. (3-3) begins for ByuN, but Ultraless Cavern's closing in, and Rogue hasn't really slowed down economically. He just hit the SCVs, delayed their gold base somewhat, and he has 5 bases running himself, so he's got plenty of economy. But ByuN is closing in on 200 supply, which, without Vipers or Ultralisks, and since there's no Ghosts, Ultras would be a strong choice. Without Vipers or Ultras, he's going to have a tough time in dealing with the well-controlled Bio Army. That precious Overseer. Little mines around again. More mines. The most dangerous breadcrumbs. Titan is plating on the way. Medevac's trying to slip around the left side. Very aware of it is Rogue, but doesn't have anything that can really take it out of the sky. Just has to deal with it when they drop out. Still about 30 supply committed. Again, Rogue trying to hit while ByuN's looking the other way, but ByuN's able to flip over just in time. The Marauders out in front to draw some of the fire, potentially eat the Banes, or at least to line up the Zerglings. The drop comes in again. Ultraless in production. Oh, the Baneling targeting, but he missed one. And is forced to pick up. Rogue not going to be subtle about morphing those Banes. Queens will politely yet firmly push those medevacs away. We got the Ghost Academy in production. Ultras on the field. As it gets dangerously close to getting... We're getting dangerously close to a dragged out late game yet again. Only 12 minutes in. Still early game, but 200 supply apiece. Wings and Banes burrowing. And what? Zerglings in the natural. Zerglings breaking through into the main through the double depots. And ByuN, he's got a single drop, but the Ultra leading the charge cleaves through. A triple drop coming out, but all of his bases are being gutted simultaneously. The Ghost Academy will be targeted. The Armory as well. 5 Ultras in production. And Rogue, ByuN, has been completely gutted. He doesn't have the economy. He's supply blocked and he can't even build more. And now the gold base is being hit. The Banelings roll in, easily cleaves through. The drop trying to be handled, but the Queens themselves are able to deal with most of it. 34 SCVs dead, and he's not quite done yet. ByuN plummets to a 10 supply lead. Wow. It really felt like, well, Rogue got a lot of economic damage done, but he didn't really touch the army very much. Ultra speed is done, but the Ultras are running away. He drops a mule. Oh my god, he body blocked with the mule. What a play. Oh no. I can't believe, wow. Who would win? A massive war beast the size of a city block? Or one automated miner dude? And ByuN just tearing him apart. Rogue hit the economy, but ByuN struck back directly towards his face. And maybe Rogue regretting offering a draw. And it seemed like it was Rogue who offered it, so ByuN happy enough to try it all again. He's not coming up that ramp. 32 drones dead, and ByuN takes the regame. And, you know, he agreed to the draw, but he didn't initiate it. At least, based on what we saw there. I don't know what they said in Korean, besides the fact ByuN was kind enough to explain it in the chat. But Rogue initiated the attempt at a draw, and ByuN accepted. And here we are. A ByuN acceptable result. Well, that was certainly a mixed bag of games / game, but here we are at the end. So hopefully, even if you didn't entirely enjoy, and I admit I am somewhat upset at how that first experience concluded, hopefully it did make your day a little bit more interesting and arguably better. And if you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. Just like Overseers and Changelings. Well, I still don't know what he was trying to do with that. That's so confusing. I don't. I'm gonna need to spend some time meditating on this or something like that. Either way, we'll cut it off there. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.